Hello, everybody. It's a TV optimist person. I guess TV is more accurate. I already recorded like 11 minutes, and I realized I'm just rambling. So I'm doing this over again. This is my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time. I really had to go through my list, my original list. Bear with me. It's now done. It's now completed. Um, let's go. Number 10 originally was Matt Sydal. I saw Matt Sydal wrestle for Wrestling Society X. At the time, I was watching TNA Impact with my brother, WWE Raw, SmackDown. I think ECW even. I don't know if ECW just started, but they had Wrestling Society X on MTV that lasted for like 10 episodes. But Matt Sydal was on there as this like preppy douchebag, and he played the role really well. And then he debuted for WWE's incarnation of ECW, which I call it WWE ECW. Um, he showed up and he was Matt Sydal. He played the jobber role. He got jobbed out. I forget to who, and then he got beat up after the match. And they were like, "You'll get a rematch against this guy next week. We'll go ahead and give you a rematch, even though you're a jobber." And I remember I thought the Titantron also said Matt Sydal, like he got an entrance and everything, and then a nameplate. And I was like, I love that. I love that guy. I think that guy's really good in the ring. And the next week he was renamed to Evan Bourne, and that's when I was like, oh, this guy's legit now. Sadly, his WWE run didn't pan out, but he did some pretty cool stuff in Impact. I think Lucha Underground, maybe. I don't remember. He was all over the place. And now he is, I think, in All Elite. I don't remember honestly. I can't. I couldn't tell you. Um, but I really like that guy. Dropping down from my original number six spot was Chris Jericho. However, there is a wrestler that is missing from this top 10 that can't be missed on this top 10. Absolutely cannot. So Chris Jericho, I had to just remove from the list altogether. I was like, I can't. He was so high up in number six, and I was like, I really do like Chris Jericho. I do, and I respect him. But above these other names, I don't agree. I just don't agree because I see more potential with all of them than I do Chris at this point in his career. I'm just sick of all the. I like that he can reinvent himself. In AEW, he's reinvented himself so much that it's like every other reinvention is like whatever. When he first started, he was AEW World Champion. I was like, it's a good signing, but I don't think he should have been the first champ. And then kind of discredited, still kind of discredits Hangman Adam Page. He should have been the first champion, in my opinion. Because by the time he did win it, and it was a damn good win for him. I think it did add to that, like building up and trying to get back to world title potential contendership. But Chris Jericho is not a good first choice as a champ for a new company that doesn't want to be the former WWE guy place. It's a pretty bad look, and Chris Jericho um, Inner Circle was cool, and but then like um, Jericho Appreciation Society sucked, and then this whole FTW champion, the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho is shitty. He is in a much better shape than he was though. That sucked when he was clearly out of shape, getting gassed out in the matches, couldn't do the lines all properly anymore. I'm glad that he's healthier, but number 10 is Johnny TV, formerly known as John Morrison. He was Johnny Nitro first. John Morrison, just John Hennigan's his real name. Then he went to Impact, Johnny Impact. He just started taking the last name wherever he went. He was Johnny Elite before he was rechristened as Johnny TV. He's Johnny everything. He tagged with Matt as Johnny Hardy. Like he's Johnny whatever the last name will be. I think that's kind of like taken away from the allure that is the former Impact World Champion Johnny TV, Johnny Impact. I think he could have done really great things in in WWE. I think he should have been a WWE champion. Honestly, tremendous. They gave him the main event spot in ECW because of the Chris Benoit tragedy, and he stepped up and he showed that he can be a world champion. Becoming John Morrison was amazing, and he reinvented himself time and time again. Now his reinventions, kind of like Chris Jericho, kind of that's why he's fallen so far down my list. He was originally number 8, so yeah, this list is all over the place. So number 10 is Johnny TV, Concrete. That's it. Um, and there's a lot of like intercontinental champions on here. I've noticed. Number 9 is originally my number 7. This list is all over the place. This was formerly Kofi Kingston, and then it was Johnny TV. Now it's Jeff Hardy. I've made so many changes to this list. Jeff Hardy, again, Intercontinental Champion, WWE Champion, highly deserving. I love Matt as well, but Jeff, what more can be said? Daredevil, awesome. I just like him a lot. He's so far down my list now because he's done. He can't do it anymore. Number 8, formerly Johnny TV, then Jeff Hardy. Going up in ranking from number 9 originally is Kofi Kingston. Yeah, the first black WWE champion. That's fucking awesome. That's so cool. Seeing him from the Trouble in Paradise from WWE CW, and then seeing him, how he is now, New Day rocks and everything, and the champion, like it was so great. It's sad that they treated him like shit and his reign like shit. Ended his reign like that. But yeah, and I didn't say, back to Jeff Hardy real quick. I didn't really grow up watching Jeff and Matt Hardy. I would see them in video games, but I really didn't know anything about them. 2007 is when Jeff Hardy came back from TNA, and I was like, oh, this dude's cool as hell. This is Matt's brother. This dude's awesome. And I barely knew anything about Matt, too, at the time. So, number 8, formerly Johnny TV. So, yeah, Johnny Impact. Whoa, what are we at? Well, I just said that, Kofi Kingston. Number 7, so Johnny TV, Jeff Hardy, Kofi Kingston. Formerly Jeff Hardy in this one, number 7. There's no more formerly this and formerly that. Jeff Hardy's gone down. This one as well. It's Kane. The big red machine, big red monster. I don't care very much for like political views of these people. I don't care. That doesn't really impact my decision making on where they go on my list. Kane in the corporate Kane days kind of soured it a little bit, but there's just other wrestlers that I like more now. Overall, and then the history. My top 4 have not changed. Kane here, the brother of Undertaker. I talked about how my favorite book of all time is Journey into Darkness. It's the fictionalized history of Kane. Really added to my love for the character. I love him. I love Kane. I think that great history with the character. Number 6, replacing Chris Jericho altogether. Chris Jericho's off the list. Is CM Punk. Watching from WWE CW, the early days, that's my introduction to CM Punk. I didn't know anything about the indies. I really liked the straight edge superstar. Winning Money in the Bank I thought was really cool. Getting drafted to Raw and winning the World Heavyweight title, kind of like in hindsight, I was like, eh. But like, I mean, even at the time, I was kind of like, that's cool, but like what else? Like, he didn't really have a character so much. When he won the Money in the Bank the very next year, drafted to SmackDown, won it off of Jeff Hardy and turned heel. I really underrated. Like, I was a huge mark. I was that kind of fan that, like, if someone turned heel, I was like, oh, boo, fuck that guy. I hate that guy now. And that's how I was with CM Punk. But going back and seeing CM Punk and Jeff Hardy's rivalry on SmackDown, it's like right under Undertaker and Batista's rivalry. One of the best in SmackDown's history. I think that's a great, tremendous rivalry, Jeff Hardy and CM Punk. And then, the pipe bomb, that's when everybody became a CM Punk fan. We don't have to talk about his AEW run. We all know that was kind of a fucking shitty run. It started really strong. That return was amazing. Um, my aunt was a huge CM Punk fan, and CM Punk deserves to be on this list, honestly. Him coming back at SummerSlam last year, was it SummerSlam or Survivor Series? Him returning, I I didn't really care because he had already returned with AEW. I've been loving what he's been doing with McIntyre. I think that's a really great storyline. I liked what he was doing with Rollins. I like what he was doing with Cody Rhodes. I think all that. Speaking of number five, which was originally Kane, as you were Kane dropped down to two things. Yeah, a lot of them dropped down a lot. It's Cody Rhodes. My name's Cody. Hi, that's my middle name. Um, Cody Rhodes is one of my favorites because his name is Cody. I remember when he debuted. What was it, in '07? Just being a young strapping young man, and then a young strapping young man, and then joining up with Hardcore Holly, winning the tag titles. I was a fan from jump, and then I was like, I can see this guy becoming the champion. Skinny little guy, but then the Money in the Bank when Sandow won. I mean, there was so much. I was a fan all the way throughout. Going back, I like dashing now, but at the time, I really didn't like the dashing Cody Rhodes gimmick. Undashing was dope. Yeah, lots of cool stuff like that. um, Rhodes leaving WWE, asking for his release, leaving, and then reinventing himself. The whole way through, I was rooting for him. I thought it was really dumb that he couldn't use the Rhodes name. Then when he got the Rhodes name back, I didn't know about his theme song because I didn't watch AEW like that. Him showing up years ago at WrestleMania fighting Seth Rollins, and ever since then I've been rooting for this guy nonstop. And then when he had that impassioned promo the next night on Raw, after night 2 nights after night one, I think it was, whenever he returned, that Raw following WrestleMania, he was like crying about how he wants to. That's his story. He wants to finish the story. I've been rooting for him throughout. I love him. I think he's great. That's why he's so high on my list now. And when he wasn't there originally, because I was like, I like Rhodes, but and again, these are all like Intercontinental champions. Number four, so this from here on out, nothing else changes. Number four is Bray Wyatt. I can't say enough about Bray Wyatt. Sadly, I'm not having a lot of recording time here, so I got to kind of speed up. But Bray Wyatt's just amazing. Loved him from day one. I even liked Husky Harris. He didn't really have a character, but I loved the character. We're talking about characters here too. We're not talking about separate gimmicks. Like Cody Rhodes obviously is Stardust, right? But like if I was doing a list and I put Mick Foley on here, nah, that doesn't really apply. What I'm trying to say. I'm not talking about Husky Harris. I'm talking about Bray Wyatt. And yeah, Bray Wyatt is fantastic. I really like him, and yeah, he's a great character. And sadly, R.I.P. But he was my favorite for a while, and I really wanted him to win. When he won the WWE Championship, Elimination Chamber, amazing. Number three is Triple H. I really could not have cared less about Triple H growing up. He would show up in video games, and I was like, whatever. When I saw the documentary, I think we talked about this already, but him coming back from his injury, I had gave me a lot of respect for the man. And then this is back in 2017 when I made this list, so this is way before he even took over the WWE as it is now. The creative control. Now, oh man, he's amazing. But this is about wrestling. This isn't about creative. Number two is Shawn Michaels. Love Shawn Michaels. Always have, always will. I always thought he was better than Triple H as a DX member, just in the tag team. As a wrestler, I just think he's phenomenal. Speaking of phenomenal, man, AJ Styles, he kind of deserves to go on. He's got to be top 20 at least. And number one is The Undertaker. Gotta moving shit around because there's a fucking jumping spider in here. Yeah, number one is jumping at me and shit. Number one's The Undertaker. My all-time favorite. I got in the video now. Sadly, most of my